Last year's BlackBerry KEYone felt like a return to form for people who really cared about that classic keyboard phone design. The question is, how do you take that and make it better? Well, in the new BlackBerry KEY2, which we just had a bit of hands-on time with, the answer was pretty clear. They made the whole device just a little bit sleeker, they made the keyboard noticeably better, and added some really interesting security and privacy features. Let's take a closer look.
Let's just get one thing out of the way up front. When it comes to design, the BlackBerry KEY2 is a tremendous improvement over the original. I mean, just look at this thing. It's built from glass and Series 7 aluminum, and it's thinner and more angular and altogether much more modern than the KEYone. BlackBerrys aren't usually known for their striking physical design, so the work TCL and BlackBerry Mobile have done here is very impressive. Of course, you are never going to buy a BlackBerry purely because of looks, right? BlackBerry Mobile is convinced there's a broad swath of people out there who miss or need physical keyboards on their phones, and I'm happy to report the KEY2's keyboard is another big improvement over what we got last year. Check out these keys, they're a little bigger than they are on the KEYone, and they're noticeably flatter too, which makes them much nicer to peck out messages on. I used to do a lot of stopping and starting while using the KEYone's keyboard because I found the raised keycaps harder for touch typing. After a few minutes of playtime though, the KEY2's layout felt instantly familiar. I'm still not great at using it since I'm still used to typing on glass, but I suspect even die-hard BlackBerry fans will find a lot to like here. If you look closely enough at the keyboard's bottom right corner, you might notice something a little unusual. See that button with the 3x3 arrangement of dots? BlackBerry calls that the speed key, and the name fits because of how fast it makes multitasking. See, each key on the keyboard can act as a shortcut to either an app or an action, like composing a new email or toggling Wi-Fi. The problem with the KEYone was you couldn't tap a key on the keyboard to use as a shortcut while you were inside another app. With the speed key, that's no longer the case. The speed key lets you very quickly jump from app to app without having to open up the launcher or the recent apps window. This is the first new button BlackBerry has added to the keyboard in years, and believe me, it makes for lightning-fast multitasking that was well worth the wait. BlackBerry has also made some really helpful tweaks with software too. Just look at DTEC, that app that tells you how secure your phone is or isn't. In addition to a new design, it's also more proactive about letting you know when apps try to access specific sensors on your phone. It'd be weird if a calculator app tried to quietly access your camera or your microphone, right? With the new DTEC, you'll get notifications alerting you to those kinds of shady moves. Thankfully, you can define what sensors you want to get notifications for, which should help keep that flow of alerts more manageable. BlackBerry's Locker, a secure space where you can store your files, also now lets you stick apps in there too and hide those apps from the launcher so no one needs to know about your secret life writing stories on Wattpad.
The KEY2's squat 4.5-inch display hasn't changed much since last year, but the phone is noticeably quicker than the KEYone. That's all thanks to the Snapdragon 660 chipset with 6GB of RAM inside. We're still not looking at flagship-grade power here, but these upgrades really do help the overall experience. Oh, and around back, you'll find BlackBerry's first dual camera with two 12-megapixel sensors mounted side by side for features like portrait mode and enhanced zoom. I didn't get to spend too much time with the camera, but right off the bat, it seemed purely fine. Not amazing, not awful, just fine.
By now, it's pretty clear that the BlackBerry KEY2 isn't perfect for everybody, but the slice of people it is for does seem to be growing. I mean, after all, privacy concerns about our data have only gotten more pronounced. Who isn't concerned about the data that we store on our smartphones and upload to servers? These are real issues that we're now having to reckon with, and it feels like the BlackBerry KEY2 just might be the right device at the right time.